Are you ready?
For what?
Are you ready?
For what?
Welcome to Kids Church Online.
Let's do this.
Okay, Leah and Pastor Aaron, we have a challenge for you. We have 6 cups over here. Since the first 3 are full, the next 3 are empty. And what you need to do is you need to order them into full, empty, full, empty, full, empty. And you can only move 1 glass.
Okay.
I can only move 1 cup.
Yes, only 1 cup.
So I can't like swap it?
No.
Full, empty,
Yeah.
full, empty, full, empty.
Yeah.
And I can only move 1 cup.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's just logic and math.
Full, empty, full, empty, full, empty.
Mhm.
And I can only move 1 cup.
Yeah.
Full, empty,
Yeah.
full.
So essentially what I need to do is somehow make this one turn to water.
Water into wine. No, that's
Exactly.
not. Only Jesus can do that.
I can't see.
Oh, let's see if this works.
Woo! There we go.
Booyah.
Whoa! Look
First
at her
try.
go. First try. Aren't we all impressed? Pastor Aaron did it in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
I just had to understand the rules, you know?
Good job.
Yeah, I mean like just Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Or
No
Enola
help
Holmes,
at all. No help required.
you know?
Are you actually watching? She's looking at math. Math's not going to help you with this.
It's supposed to help. It's a logic quiz.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh.
How do you do this?
Leah, this is called cheating. I don't know if I'll be
I
able
got
to
it.
post
I
this.
figured it out. 10 out of 10. Brain cells. Brilliance 1000.
We will be having a preteen Zoom call on Saturday at 5 p.m. If you need the Zoom link, please contact Caitlin at family@rpcchurch.ca. We need to get some information about you. Parents, please email Pastor Crystal at crystal@rpcchurch.ca. She needs your kid's full name and birthday. Family donations, if you are interested, please contact Caitlin at family.rpcchurch.ca.
Today's big point is do the right thing when everyone else is doing the wrong thing. We must obey God instead of men. Acts 5:29.
Hey kids, so this morning we are talking about the book of Daniel, but did you guys know that today is Pentecost Sunday? Now you may be wondering, what is Pentecost Sunday? Well, today we get to celebrate when Jesus sent the Holy Spirit to the apostles and to his followers. And boys and girls, it didn't stop there. Jesus sent us the Holy Spirit. So let us celebrate today because today is Pentecost. Well, enjoy the service, you guys. If you want to read more about Pentecost Sunday, boys and girls, check out Acts chapter 2 and read it with your parents, and you'll find out more about the Holy Spirit in Acts chapter 2.
Hey kids, do you know what this is? This is a lava lamp. Kind of almost looks like a furnace, don't you think? Well, coincidentally enough, that's what the story we're going to be learning about today is. It's about the fiery furnace and how Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were able to survive because they trusted in Jesus. Even though they were in the fiery furnace, putting their faith in God, through putting their faith in God, they were able to come out unscathed. So remember kids, we need to put our faith in God. And now let's hear the story.
Hey guys, welcome to Story Time. I'm going to read you a story. This story is from the book of Daniel, chapter 3, The 3 Faithful Men. Our story today is about a king and 3 brave men. They all had very interesting names. The king's name was Nebuchadnezzar, and the 3 men were known as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They lived in a place called Babylon, And the 3 men worked for the king and had important jobs in the province of Babylon. One day, King Nebuchadnezzar decided to build a huge image made of gold that stood 90 feet tall. To understand how tall that is, just imagine 15 men all standing one on top of the other to make a tall tower. That sure was big. Then King Nebuchadnezzar made an announcement. People of all languages, when you hear music, you must bow down and worship the statue because I have said so. Whoever does not obey and worship the statue will be immediately thrown into a fiery furnace. But there was a problem with this. God does not want us to worship anything or anyone other than Him. After all, He is God. He made us and He loves us very much. God came to earth and He died for us, and He cares about every little thing in our lives. Why would we want to pray or worship something that isn't real? Something that can't answer our prayers or help us? To worship a big pile of gold like the one that King Nebuchadnezzar set up is silly. The gold cannot hear, see, or care about anything or anyone. But the next time the music played, everyone stopped what they were doing. They bowed down to worship the gold image. Everyone, that is, except Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Some of the king's workers, who were jealous of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, saw that they would not bow down to the image, so they ran immediately to tell the king. When King Nebuchadnezzar heard the news, he was very angry. He immediately ordered that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought to him to explain their actions. The men were brought before the king. King Nebuchadnezzar said to them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you will not bow down and worship the image of gold that I have made? Just in case there was a mistake, I will give you another chance. When the music plays again, you must be ready to bow down to the image. But if you don't this time, you will be thrown into a fiery furnace. Then what God will be able to save you?" Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego looked at each other and replied to the king, "O King Nebuchadnezzar, we did not make a mistake, nor will we apologize for not bowing down. If we are thrown into the furnace, the God we worship will save us and He will rescue us. But even if He doesn't, we want you to know that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." That made King Nebuchadnezzar even angrier. Right away, he ordered the furnace to be heated much hotter than it usually was, and commanded some of the strongest soldiers to take Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to throw them into the fire. The soldiers took the 3 men, just as they were, straight to the furnace. The men were wearing all their clothes, including their robes, shirts, and pants, with their turbans on their heads. These things would catch fire very easily. As the soldiers were pushing the men into the furnace, The flames of the fire killed the soldiers because the fire was so hot. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fell into the hot furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar jumped to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors, "Weren't there only 3 men thrown into the fire?" They replied, "Oh yes, King." He said, "Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, untied and unhurt, and the 4th looks like some kind of angel." King Nebuchadnezzar then came as close as he could to the furnace and shouted in the doorway, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, followers of the Most High God, come out! Come here!" So the 3 men walked out of the furnace without any burns. No hairs on their head were burned, and all their clothes were perfectly fine, with no smell of smoke on them at all. At that moment, King Nebuchadnezzar knew that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego worshipped a real God and not some fake statue. God had sent an angel to protect them from harm. And even more importantly, King Nebuchadnezzar realized that they truly believed and trusted in God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were willing to die rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. So from that day on, the king made an announcement that all the people of all languages, could not say anything bad about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's God, or they would be severely punished. The king then gave the 3 men even better jobs than they already had in the province of Babylon.
Point number 1, God will protect you. When we look in the story and we see these 3 brave characters, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we can see how much of the huge amount of faith that they had with God. When the king asked them to bow down and they refused, that probably took so much courage and so much faith for them to say no, and for them to know that God will protect them. So when the king had told them that they were going to go into this fire that can pretty much burn them in an instant, right when they walk through the flames, they didn't hesitate. They didn't think about it. They just went in knowing that God will protect them. Like, can you imagine, boys and girls, just knowing the fact that, hey, you're going to be thrown into this fire because you refuse to bow down and worship the one true God. Like, I don't even think I will be able to have that much of faith to be able to walk through a fire, but they did. And I strive to grow my faith. And boys and girls, you should grow your faith just like they did, to be able to be thrown in the fire and into the furnace and be able to come out knowing that God will protect you. Like, they just believed and they had faith that God would do that, and he did. When those 3 decided to walk through the fire and they came out, they knew a 4th person was with them, which was God, because God protected them. They walked through burning fire, burning flames, and they came out, and God had protected them. So just like that, boys and girls, we are going to go through fires, which means we're going to go through situations in life, and sometimes we come into circumstances where we're going to be tested like that in our faith. And we should be able to be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and know that God will protect us during these times of fire. So that is the story.
Point number 2, stand strong in your faith. Throughout your life, you're going to have people tell you that Jesus just isn't worth worshiping, or what's the point in going to church? because a lot of people just don't know how God works or why he does the things that he does. Like in today's Bible story, if I was Shadrach, Meshach, or Abednego and King Nebuchadnezzar was about to throw me into the fire, I would be like, why would God let us go into the fire? But in the Bible, those three still continue to have faith in Jesus. And what happened? Jesus was right there beside them. So it just goes to show that if Jesus is worth worshiping in the fires of our lives, in the worst parts of our lives, he's worth worshiping in every single day of our life, in the worst parts and in the best parts.
Point number 3 is that we should listen to God even when people don't want to. Now, in our lives, we're often faced with choices where we can either listen to the world, we can listen to people in our lives, or we can listen to God. Because sometimes what people want us to do, what people choose to do, isn't the right thing. Maybe you have times in your life where your friends really wanted to take something that wasn't theirs, or maybe your friends wanted to tell a little white lie and they're like, oh, it'll be fine. But you know that God says, don't do that. What are you going to do? Are you going to listen to your friends, or are you going to listen to God? And often it can be really hard because you want to fit in. You want to be the same as your friends. You want to fit in. But I promise you, if you choose God, sometimes, yes, it's hard, but it's always going to be the right choice. It's always going to be a good choice. And just like in the story with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they had a choice. They could either listen to the king, to the people, to worship the God that wasn't theirs, worship that statue. But God said, don't worship any other gods besides me. Only worship God. And so they listened to God and they didn't worship the statue, and because of that they were thrown into that furnace. But God was with them the entire time. They didn't get hurt because God was with them. And just like that, if you choose God, even if you're scared, God will be with you. He will give you the courage to choose him. He will give you the courage to make the right decision, to make the right choice, the good, godly choice, even when it's hard. So I promise you, kids, if you listen to God and you take that leap of faith and you jump into it and you say, yes, I want to trust you, God, even though it's hard, even though I might be laughed at if I choose this choice, I want to trust you. I promise you, God will be with you. God will make a way for you to do it, and God will give you courage and strength. You'll be super strong, and I believe in you, and so does God.
Go grab your parents and answer these questions with us. Question number 1. What gold thing did King Nebi build? Question number 2. What was King Nebi's law? Question number 3. Who were the only ones who refused to bow down to the idol? Question number 4. How did the king punish them? Question number 5. How many men were walking around in the furnace? Question number 6. After the men came out of the furnace, what did the king order? Question number 7. What can you do to show that you obey God, not people?
Challenge. Review your family fire safety plan. If you don't have one, develop one. Tips and templates are available online. Talk about how God was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fire. Share an experience where you have to demonstrate faith during a difficult time and write about it below. If you have any prayer requests, please email Pastor Crystal at rpcchurch.ca.
Guys, it's me again. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about today about doing the right thing even when everybody else around you isn't. Well, when I was in school, maybe I think about grade 7, I was in a grade 6-7 split class. We had a substitute teacher one day called Mr. Post. And he was a great substitute teacher. We liked him. He was really nice and he was a lot of fun. But of course, as I'm sure all of you have done, we tried to get away with things. So our recess time at school was from 10:45 to 11 a.m. We only had 15 minutes. But I guess some of the other schools that Mr. Post had worked at, they had a half an hour recess. So he had started to dismiss us at 10:30. Now, of course, none of us said anything. And we all started to get our jackets and everything from our cubbies. And we were all ready to go. I think all of us had our jackets on. We're in our desks, ready to go get lined up. And one girl, you could hear her voice, "Actually, Mr. Post, our recess is at 10:45. And of course, all of us were like, "Oh, come on, we're almost there. We almost had half an hour recess." But you know what? That girl did the right thing. She told the truth, because it was the truth. We did have recess from 10:45 to 11, and that was all we got. Until, of course, lunchtime. So she did the right thing, even though all of the rest of us were trying to get an extra 15 minutes of recess. She did the right thing, even when everyone else did.
All right, stop right there. So for the month of July and August, we are doing a series called Kids Ask Why. So you ever have a question, you wonder why the grass is green, or why you can't see the wind, or why it's about Jesus? Well, we are going to try and answer your questions. So email us any question that you have, and in the month of July and August, we're going to try and answer them. So you can email us at crystal@rpcchurch.ca. We would love to hear your questions, and we'll try our best and answer them. Hey, George.
Why is the sky blue?
Oh, well, good question, George.
Why is there called light?
You know what, George? You're asking the good why questions, because in July and August we're going to talk about why. But you know who's going to answer all your questions?
Who?
Justin.
Okay.
Let's go find him. Hey, Justin.
Yeah.
George has a bunch of questions to ask you. Are you okay to answer?
Yeah, for sure.
Why is the sky blue?
Cause the oceans make the sky blue.
Why is the grass green?
Cause of the chlorophyll in the plants, right?
Why is the wall white?
Because Crystal likes it white.
Well, why is the light yellow?
Because of the color of the LEDs.
Why is the chair black? Because it just fits with our motif. Why is the piano brown? Because of the color of the wood and why make it nice and possible. Why is the violet kingfisher red?
2 hours later.
Why is the painting colored?
Because colors are good.
You know what, George? We really appreciate those why questions, and we would like to hear what your why questions is. So make sure you email us and tell us what your why question is. Is that okay, George?
Why?